Why do we really need to get married? The question sounds simple, but if we ponder over it, we will realize that it is quite difficult, more than we expected. You can pause this video a little while to think about that. My name is Follow me on Instagram at Okantalks-relationships, so on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification button as you enjoy this video. Yeah, I really ponder over it, like, why do we really need to get married? Some people say sex, but I think about it and I find out that like it was in those days where we got married, then we can have access to sex, or probably multiple sex or a lot of sex. But now in the world we are in today, sex is more or less like air we breathe around, like almost everywhere. Even underage have sex, and a whole lot of things about sex is so free, so rampant, and so common. So we find out that if it is actually sex, then a lot of people could have just gotten married for the fact that they had sex together. But sex is not the answer. And also some people say companionship, and I look at it like, is it really companionship? You look at it like people can choose to live together, being a young boy, working boy, you getting some money, and you rent an apartment, and then you can choose to allow any girl into your apartment and nobody complains. And at the end of the day, when you really want to get married, for whatever story you want to come up with, they get separated. Also, they can own property together, they can do business together, they can buy cars, buy house, or whatever together. At the end of the day, whatever it is, how sweet the companionship is, if there is no kid or child or children, whatever you call it, in the story, it gets boring sometimes. Even if you are officially married, like you are legally married, I want to tell you this is going to be a little bit weird about it. No offense, please. If you are legally married and there is no child or children along the line, you are in companion, because sometimes it's going to get boring. Because if things really go south, like it's really tough, it's really bad, it will be very easy to like walk away. But if there are children along the line, maybe one or two or whatever, the story will be different, because both of you will be responsible to the child. So I now conclude that the purpose of getting married is actually to have a child, for someone to take after you, for someone to inherit you, for someone to be your successor. Even in animal kingdom, you find out that when a new lion take over the pride, he's going to kill all the cubs there, because he wants the mother to get it to heat, and then he can cross them and have his own set of generations to come after him. So you now need to understand that we men, we are created to, like, at any point in time have a goal to chase, or probably we set up a challenge for us. More so when we're like in the 20s and probably early 30s. Most men, the challenges before them is how to get ladies to bed. There's this girl over there, there's that girl over there, they chase her, they tell her all sort of things just to sleep with her, to flirt with her and everything. But by the time they get to like 40 years old, they start feeling empty, because he has been learning this trick of playing girls, sleeping with girls all over. But at the time he got to like there about 40 years, he is feeling empty, because he has slept with several girls, and now there is no kid, there is no children to show for it. He now starts feeling empty. So the next thing is, I want to have a child. And at that point, the thing that will come into his head is, who do I have this child with? So then a choice will come up in his head, like, yes, I know I have Jennifer, I have Bimbo, I have Dupe, I have this, I have that. He started weighing up all options as who is the best person to be the best wife for him. So we need to think about this, that at that time it will be more important for you to have child or probably children than to just be sleeping with women, because the purpose is to have the child. And at that time, if you really want to choose the girl who has that understanding that the purpose of being into relationship is to become a wife and take care of the children. So because if you think all this I'm saying is more or less like fallacy, you can think about couples who had no kids. They might be very rich, they might have Ferrari, they go for picnic, they travel to America and all stuff. Ask them, if you are so close to them, they will tell you sincerely, because they have no children, they are not happy. They are not happy. Or you ask yourself, why do you think people need to go for adoption of a child? It is after you've gotten married and you have tried severally to have your own child. Whatever the story is, it might be disease, it might be whatever, but you cannot bear your own child. Then the next option is to go for adoption. So, because the relationship is there, but the purpose, the primary goal for going into the marriage, to really getting married, is to have a child, but the child is not there. That is why they go and adopt another child. And also, you need to think about this. Why do you think the word biological father is so important? You go to the court, you hear the judge saying, who is the biological father of this child? What they are telling you is who precisely slept or probably impregnated this woman to have this child. Because that's the purpose of marriage. That's the purpose of being together as husband and wife. So now you look at it like, if you think the purpose of marriage is not for having children, what is so important about DNA test? We all know which woman conceived this child. We know who the mother is. And at the end of the day, we need DNA test to really identify who actually is the father, because that is the purpose of relationship, purpose of marriage. So I think we need to really understand why we really need to get married, because don't mix it up, because you might go to religious houses and they start telling you about covenant of marriage. Whatever and however they analyze it, let me give you these 3 simple lines they will be talking about when it is precise about marriage. Number 1, to be responsible to one another, the husband and the wife. Number 2 is to be responsible to the children. And number 3 is to be responsible to the family. Because if you look at it like the family, everyone, you ask any parent, they tell you, what about your kids? What about your children? Their wallet is too much, they are there. That is the picture you see when you are looking at a tree. But when you are looking at a forest as a whole, you ask about the children, they will be happy, because the children will give you happiness naturally, because you remember when they were kids, they are growing, their development and everything, intellectually, education and everything, and they become someone. As they grow up, they give you purpose for living. You now realize, yes, that's my boy, that's my girl. Yeah, that is the purpose, because tell me what you're living for. He's like looking at me now. What do you think I'm working for? I am only working for my children to really get what I know they are lacking, or probably what I've been lacking. I want them to have it. The height I couldn't really attain, I want them to attain it. So that's the purpose of living. So that will give you a natural joy inside you, which is peculiar to everybody. Precisely, good parents. So the real reason to really get married is to have children. Not for sex, not for just companionship, but to really have somebody that will be your heir, that will take after you. Thank you, and God bless.